There's this idea in like society that men are like these all-powerful creatures, but like women have, I would argue, when it comes to like the relationship dynamic, can have an insane amount of leverage over a man and wield a lot of power over men, especially if you introduce marriage and children. I honestly think like you could say if they're not married and there's no children, it's maybe equal, but I mean, once children get involved, once you're married, then like the power dynamic absolutely switches. And I think
Welcome, my friends. My name is Antoine Phoenix, and this is my RP experience. Peace and love to all my brothers and sisters out there. Thank you for hitting the like button, subscribing, sharing. Turn on all notifications so you know when I have a whole new video up. And also share. Share the video if you want. Tonight's video is about leverage in relationships. We're mostly going to be talking about the women's leverage in a relationship, and especially a marriage. That's something that people generally don't talk about. I know before you get married, nobody's whispering in my ear or in the man's ear telling you that make sure that you have more leverage in the relationship than what she does. Do women talk about this? Maybe not. And maybe not in the way that you would think people would talk. And what's leverage in a relationship? Advantage. When you have the advantage in the relationship. Now, me personally, and I think that's how I was raised and how I think and feel. When I have an advantage, I generally don't take her for granted or try to take that opportunity to dog her out. Me personally, I know not every man does that, but I know I'm not the only one. And I believe a lot of men, once they get into a marriage, they don't take advantage of the leverage that they have. Now, women, they may not at first, but later on, you get married, and okay. This also goes by who benefits most in a marriage. And I guess it depends on the person that you are marrying. If a man is marrying a woman that's going to be waiting on them hand and foot and always cooking and cleaning and doing his laundry, and maybe she has a part-time job or maybe she doesn't, but basically she is kind of like the maid around the house or so. I know in me, I'm more inclined to help the woman clean without her asking, only because how I saw my mom as I was growing up, and she would be working and then have to come home and cook and clean, and that was hard. Now, I have to admit, sometimes I would lax and be playing video games, okay, but if she wasn't complaining or telling me things that I would have to do, I know as I started to get older in my early teens, I just started seeing that she was getting worn out. So usually a woman doesn't have to ask me to help her with housework. However, I may not do it exactly when she wants me to do it. It depends on what I have doing, but I'm usually one of those people. I'll do what I really don't want to do first so I can do what I want to do so people will leave me the fuck alone. Okay? But how I believe is when a man and woman first meet, unless if he's smitten with how beautiful that she is and he places her on the pedestal, and I used to do that, but if you don't place her on the pedestal and but you do treat her like a lady, you do things for her, and she's doing some things for you without you asking or twisting her arm, you two are even around that time. Then when you get married, I think she has a little bit more of the advantage there. But however, it's not that much of an advantage that she may not see, or as long as you wasn't kissing her butt or putting her on the pedestal before you got married, it's not too much of a noticeable difference. I think the woman's power kicks in once she has kids. That's why when men are saying don't get married, yeah, depending on how the woman is acting, but I also know if you've been with a woman like 3 to 5 years or so, depending on if she doesn't want to do it, I know she's going to want to seal the deal because women, they get a pressure that we don't get. So her friends and family will be asking her, "Oh, when are you getting married? Are you getting married? When are you having the kid?" That's something we don't tend to get. Men tend to get that thing of when are you going to get a job? When are you going to finish your degree? When are you going to do a certain function where it proves your worth as a man? Men get to hear that a bit more. Okay. Not to say that men won't ignore it, but they get to hear that more. Women hear more about when you're going to get married and when you are going to have kids. So trying to understand her point with that, if I'm with a woman that long and everything appears to be going well, then I might be inclined to like, okay, fine, let's get married or at least do some ceremony to seal the deal. Me personally, it's the kids that that scares me right now because when I look at the person, the woman that I married, we was better as boyfriend and girlfriend in my mind. Okay, once we moved to the married thing, I assumed she expected more of me, and I expected more of her, but I didn't know how to ask or tell her at the same time, and plus it was just a lot of stuff going on. But she got a little worse after the marriage, and then once we had a kid, she definitely turned it up. But I do also think it was the people that she was listening to. So I have a clip right here that this guy is going to reveal the truth on the leverage in a relationship in marriage.
You will never know a woman until she has leverage on you. You could be with a woman 5, 10 years. Until she has leverage on you, that's the only time you're going to know who she really is. When she gets pregnant or when you get married. That's when her true colors show. I'm so scared to ever let a woman get leverage on me. I had a friend, he was begging his baby mama, I'll send you $1,000 just to send me a picture of my child. Women wield power like a tyrant. You have to manufacture situations to test that woman before you get her pregnant, before you get married, because you will never know.
Yup, you will never know. Now, to be fair, play devil's advocate because I always look at things both ways. Sometimes, I'll say half the time, if a man has leverage, and usually the only time I think man gets a crazy amount of leverage is if he's a celebrity or if he's in the six figure and up club because he knows he has a lot of options of women, or maybe he has a concubine or side pieces that he's cheating with anyway, and he has his main girl. But he has that leverage of he can just leave at any time. That he won't bat an eye. That, hey B, it's time to go. Okay, this is my house. I pay these bills. Type of thing. I think that's why maybe when they was making divorce laws and marriage laws, I think way back when that, and I'm just guessing here, that the men that had really submissive wives, wives that was kissing their butt, those men started treating them horribly and walking all over them, treating them like trash. Okay, and that's where I think feminism somewhat came from, with a lot of things with the men in those eras dominating the women. Okay, unless if she was a queen or so, and even then she had to answer to someone. Game of Thrones taught me that no matter how high a woman gets, is always some man that she has to answer to most of the time. Anyway, and I'm trying to find the right words here. I think the way, especially men that was raised by their moms or in a two-parent household where the woman did have power, men aren't really dominating their women like that. Now I'm pretty sure there are men that do, but like I say, it's probably the celebrities, the men that have a lot of money, power, influence, a bunch of women that is still wants to get with them despite the fact that they are married or they have a woman. So if a man has that much leverage, he'll take advantage. Okay. And I can't say I wouldn't do that because I'm not in that position. I just know that if I move a woman in to my place, I'm not going to be like, hey, dictating to her because she's living under my roof like she's my kid or something. I wouldn't do that. Now, of course, though, she starts being really nasty, sloppy, I feel threatened or something, then she has to go or I have to say something to her. But thinking back to the women that I've had an advantage over, usually with her moving in with me, yeah, I didn't take advantage of the situation, okay, and, and constantly threaten to kick her out or something. Now she's telling me that she's going to go with another guy or she's in the bathroom texting or calling another guy, then yeah, I'm going to tell her like, well, you can go to that, okay, over there, but I'm going to be respectful and kind. Now, if it's reversed and you're a dude living under a woman's roof, I often hear that, yeah, the woman will be kicking the dude out or throwing him out or something. I've never been in that situation right there, but I often hear men say, do not get in that situation. And I have heard some women that when men have too much money power over you, they start treating you any kind of way. Once again, I think it's those top tier men that might do that because they know they can get away with it. The average working guy that's holding it down, he's not going to be going that hard or mistreating his woman like that. Unless if he's psycho or narcissist, psychopath, have a mental disorder. But the average dude, no, he's not going to do that. Unfortunately, I think in a lot of cases, the average woman, once she gets leverage, and I think it's a combo thing. She starts getting leverage. Maybe that makes her start losing a little bit of feeling for you. She loses feelings for you. She don't care for you like she used to. She'll start talking to you real crazy any kind of way, and she knows that you're not going to go anywhere. Because if you're a logical man, you're going to be like, if I leave, I'm going to lose the trifecta. Even though you may not mind losing the woman, but if she's attractive and she's your source of intimacy, you're losing that. You're gonna lose your kids, depending on how she is. Mine wasn't bad with the kids, so I'll give her that. She, I'm allowed to see my daughter anytime I want to. There's sometime I may not feel like dealing with the person, so that's why I may not see the daughter, but I can see her whenever I want to see her. Some men are not that lucky. And then of course you lose stuff. Like if you have a car, you supposed to give the car to the woman and give the house to the woman, which I kind of see, especially see if kids are involved. So I think once women know they have that advantage, that's why I say it's easier for the woman to leave when she gets tired and she wants to go, unless if you are living out a cardboard box or something. And that's a funny thing. I will see men that's on the street that will have girlfriends, and those women will be ride or die for that guy. You would think she would divorce him or upgrade or something, but no, she will stay in that situation with that dude because I guess they're still even. They're still even right there. So that's the thing. Either we have to be even, or I have to have the advantage. I can't speak for every man, but if I have the advantage over the woman, I'm not going to mistreat her or rub that in her face. But she has the advantage, knowing how I was with a person that took full advantage when they was ahead like that. Hmm, not doing that again. That's why, yeah, I'd rather get the sweetheart. I don't mind the woman that's assertive or speaks her mind, that's a little bit more aggressive, but they always turn into demons once they get the advantage. So, yeah, I'm going to take a break from that woman. The sweetheart or some of those other types of women is probably the ones that's more on my radar right now. So, I hope the men learned something that most people don't tell you. Do not let her get advantage over you or leverage over you. Okay? And there's no way to stop it with the kids. Oh, and that's what I meant to say. That's why I don't mind dating a single mom. Thing is, though, I just don't want her to have a bunch of kids. But if she has one, especially since I have one, if she has two, I don't know. I don't know. But one, definitely fine. Because that way, she already has the kid. And if she's hell bent of, oh, I want to have a kid with you, no, because what you gonna pray and menace me? As soon as we have a kid, you're gonna show your ass and then want to get a divorce or something? Oh no, I'm not doing that again. It and that's the thing too. If I ever get married again, I'm not going to get a divorce. You can take that how you want to take it. Okay, not doing that again. And I'm not sure if I want any more kids. But if I do, it would be a kind of woman that I've never met before, that doesn't do any of the things that makes my radar go up. So, that's it. Give me a like and subscribe and have a good night. Good luck, man. Peace out.
Say as a man, you should always get a high-paying job so that you can potentially take care of a family. But you should also make sure you have enough spare time to spend with your spouse so that they don't get lonely. If you're a father, you need to be there for and support your children. But don't try to guide them or structure them or especially discipline them in any way or you're abusive. You're expected to be masculine in order to be attractive. But you should also get in touch with your sensitive side. But not enough to cry because that makes you look weak. Women are allowed to hit you, but you should never hit them back. If you even want the chance of having a woman, be prepared to take her out to a fancy dinner in a fancy car and get her flowers and drinks and all of that. But don't expect or ask for anything in return, because then you're pushy. Remember, you have to dote on the girl in every possible way. But in the end, it's her decision as to whether or not all of your time and energy was worth her giving you anything in return. And if she leaves you after a 6-year-long relationship, remember, she's just doing what's best for her. But if you leave her after 6 years, you're a scumbag who obviously never cared. Make sure you're intelligent or women are going to look down on you. But women are always right, so they're going to look down on you anyway. Plus, if you're really smart, they're going to see you as arrogant. And be confident, because confidence is sexy. But don't be cocky. Sleep with too many women and you're just a man whore who's afraid of commitment. But don't sleep with enough women and you're less desirable because of your inexperience. Be independent, but do what you're told. Have high standards, but not high expectations. Accept women at their best and their worst. But change every negative aspect of yourself in order to prove your love. You're a man, you should have all the answers. But if you have all the answers, you're a narcissist.
Dollar bills, keep you falling for me. I love the way I feel, boss. Some money, dropping on my money. Drop some money on a sister, yummy, yeah. Drinking, right, things I like. More, bye, stopping in my ass tonight. Some money, dropping on my money.